Good afternoon, it's Artzenin. Today I want to talk about the short story Sparks. If anyone out there has gone to the website and seen the cover art for Sparks, female edition, some of you might be going, whoa, what? I thought she said she is a Christian. I am. It's controversy on purpose. It's going to be a controversy. I'm not trying to start something, but I know without shadow of a doubt that cover is going to get people's attention, and that's why I used it. I'm trying to make a point. The point that you can have intimacy with a same-sex friend and embrace them the way I designed Viridity and the woman who has yet to be named. I haven't named her yet. And it not mean anything. Scripture says rebuke the very appearance of evil. I know this. But what is evil about that photo? Nothing. It's what society has trained people to see as evil. I see a lot of affection in the book, and I see a lot of affection between people of the opposite sex that aren't even in a relationship in that way, embrace very intimately, and it mean absolutely nothing. I witnessed it between my brother and this girl. She was gorgeous, by the way. This girl looked like a model, and there was this tall military guy, and I was at Walmart, and my brother just walks up to her, and when they embraced, it was very similar to what I designed on my cover. And the guy who's like Aunt Jemima of the Han male mode is looking down at Manny, and I'm like, Manny, you can't do that. You're a black guy. That is a white girl. We are living in a slightly, if not fully racist area. You are going to get crushed. And I said this out loud, and then they all three of them looked at me funny and go, what? I met him at Bethel camp. We're just friends, and this is my husband. And they were all cool. They were fine with it. It wasn't an inappropriate hug, but it wasn't an impersonal hug either. Like, had they not given the context, I would have very much believed that Emmanuel was stealing that man's woman. When I say it was an intimate hug and they turned their head and smiled at each other, whoa, it was intense. I didn't feel anything bad. I didn't have like a spiritual red flag. The red flag was he's black and she was white, and that man beside her being in military BDUs, looking down at it at first, made me feel afraid for my brother that he was going to get hurt. And I blatantly told him, you cannot do that. But they looked at me and said, yes, we can, because we know where we are. And this was not sexual. I said that little story to say this. Viridity is a woman, so she is obviously naturally just emotionally driven. She is emotional with her expressions and her body language. Societies, even in my fictional world, will condition the men and women to reflect emotions differently. Does it make it right? I mean, if their society is training their men and women to reflect a certain attribute in their body language, in their affections, and that is something that everyone has just come to accept, it's their culture, I'm going to say it's right for them, but would it be right in the eyes of a character like Viridity? No, because she knows that at the end of the day, if she has to rebuke the very appearance of evil, affection, if done properly, is never going to be an evil thing. It's a matter of consent. It's a matter of knowing boundaries for both genders, okay? So whether she's with a male friend or a female friend, what is the boundary for those people, and what are they comfortable with giving. If she's 100 and they're a 5, then she can't come at them full force with all of her 100. She has to come down to a 5. So what would a 5 be? Maybe a 5 is just a smile. Maybe a 5 is a handshake. Maybe a 10 would be a fist bump and a smile. Viridity is very good at reading body language. So if the culture that she's in, because she's a pathfinder, she goes from planet to planet, from solar system to solar system, from galaxy to galaxy, from universe wheel to universe wheel. She's seen a lot. And at the end of the day, this character has concluded that Trigonus, Griffin, Chalice, Avril Trist are not putting necessarily a limit on one's affection, but they do require people to know what is right, what is wrong, what is a boundary, and what is crossing a boundary. So what's crossing a boundary? Her as a woman, groping a woman, licking the neck of a woman, that's a no. That doesn't deal with affection anymore. I mean, in the bedroom, that can be expressed as affection towards one's lover, but Viridity, if she has a female friend, her female friends are not her lovers. Now, the male Pathfinder 1611, he will become her lover. They're going to get married, and it's going to be great for them. So when they have that kind of intimacy, sure, she's going to probably more than likely use some other parts of herself to express that fondness and affection for her mate. But we're talking about a woman to a woman. So in the eyes of the Lord, they can have affection. They can be intimate and have platonic romance and platonic anything, but there's a line. That artwork was not me crossing the line. That artwork is appropriate because when you read the female edition of Sparks and you learn about the woman and their culture and how her and Viridity will be intertwined, the cover for those two will make a lot more sense. The context is there. It is explained. Nothing sexually is going on between Viridity and the woman. And at the end of that short story, you find out that I can't ruin it. I don't want to ruin it, but the cover art kind of contradicts who the woman's true identity is, her true intentions, if you will. Once you get to the end of that short story and then you look at the cover art of that ebook, you're going to go, what? Artzenin did not just do that. Oh, yes, I did. Because that's going to be the shock. That's going to be the deception on the woman's part. Now, had she not been out to deceive Viridity, then that cover art would still stand. It would still be good, but the drama, the absolute what just happened here, that's the build I'm going for between Viridity and the woman. That cover art suggests that they are close. Now, to possibly people, the LGBT community, they're probably going to lose their mind and think, oh no, they're lesbians. No, they're not. But if you all see that cover and you think that, to each your own, I guess. But I'm the author, and I'm telling you right now that Viridity and the woman never form a sexual romantic relationship or sexual romantic affections. They have ahava, they are platonic, but that intimacy on the cover is slightly more different than her intimacy with Pathfinder 1511. She's being embraced in both of the cover art images. She's being embraced, right? But her body language, if you look closely, is very, very much different. So Viridity, at the end of the day, she is a person who has affection. She is a woman. She's naturally good at just expressing this. But depending on which edition you read, you're going to see a different lesson there. You're going to see Viridity treating the male in her life first as an acquaintance, and then it builds up into a mate, her getting married and everything else. And then with the woman, how they meet, their acquaintedness, and then what the woman does. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this because I don't know how many people will actually read Sparks. In that woman's culture, they are meddling with the supernatural, and it's wrong. People today do it. They talk about quantum physics. I heard that in somewhere in the world they opened a portal. I looked it up, saw the images. It's messed up. I don't think people should be messing with the unknown in this way. Scripture forbids it, but people do it. So in this fictional story, they go a step. No, they don't go step. They plunge deeper into that concept. They learn about soulmatehood from the book. And they thought, all right, so this is a connection link. This is an empathy link. This is a spiritual thing. These scientists on the woman's planet are trying to bring what is spiritual and something of the Lord into the physical and then manipulate it and control it. Yeah, they're that twisted. They're that desperate to be able to experiment with something of this nature. So what happens is you have not a soulmate, you have a spark mate. Now, a soulmate can be platonic or it can be sexual and your best friend that you want to marry, etc. But in this planet that I have yet to name, in this society, you have these people who are seeking to defy natural order in that way. They took something that is sacred and spiritual that when used properly and applied the right way, they're using that as their invitation to tamper with a link between people, but they want to be able to use it for military purposes. What do I mean by that? I mean, they literally want to find these people who match, so they would spark. And when you find a spark mate, that person is your equal in every way. When that happens, that's when they want to mess with genetics and do cloning and all that stuff. Because I haven't actually talked about how cloning and genetic modifying cells is also against scripture. So I was going to play with sparks and do this. And the woman, when she uses her hand, they have to wear gloves in this society because they only take off the gloves when they feel they have found their spark mate. And when they take off the one glove or both, I haven't decided yet, that's on the hands, and they touch that person on the arm or the leg, wherever they're going to mark them, there's going to be like a digitalized almost tattoo, but it embeds into the skin, kind of like how you take an iron, what do they call it when they, with the cows, poker, and you put it on the skin. It's something like that. So again, the artwork for the female edition really is contradicting to who the woman is and what she's going to do to Viridity, despite that she's going to declare, oh, you're my spark mate. That comes with a consequence, a biblical soulmate, and what these people are doing on this planet is completely different. It's artificial, it's forced, it's control. And they want to use it for power. They want to use it for military purposes. That is completely and totally outside of the Trigonis's will and design. So Sparks, I just wanted to give you that brief little insight to it, because I'm going to make another video next week going deeper into Sparks, but the male edition. And then I'll make another video and circle around back to how both editions are canon. Yeah, they're going to both be canon. Originally, I didn't want them both to be canon. You just had to pick one or the other, and that was going to be Viridity's fate. But then Rua's like, oh no, we can make them both canon, and this is how we're going to do it. It's amazing. I love how Rua took the guy and the girl versions and combined them, and they're both going to be canon for Viridity. That's it for this update. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.